time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside smartest man in hockey, Jason York. Yorkie, nice to see you. I don't want to take a lot of chit-chat time because we've got the coach standing by.
Yeah. All right. That's
So-
good. No, we'll save the chit-chat for later. Maybe
Okay.
Greener will get a little chit-chat with him going.
This show, as always, brought to you by Bet365. Let's quickly take care of some business so I can get to Greener because he's probably got better things to do than chat with us all day long. This show brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian owned and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds and mine diamonds. Don't pay until 2026. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. I'll do it. Chosen forever. Charm Diamond Centers. Also by Merkley Supply, over a century of passion, expertise, and the highest quality masonry supply from Canada's Supreme Court to your home front steps. No matter the project, Ottawa, Merkley is proud to set it in stone. Learn more at merkleysupply.com or visit their showroom in Hittenburg. Merkley, mark every milestone. And by our good friends at Shoeless Joe's in Orleans and in Kempville. Playoff season is fully underway. Listen, you got until May 23rd to get over there and get into their prize they're giving away, a trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. So also check out their True North playoff menu, which includes the 2-cheese poutine, if you will. Shoeless Joe Sports Grill, proudly Canadian, always legendary. And now we get to show the new opening. Let's bring on our coach.
The Sens Summer Series. The Sens.
There we go. Sorry about that. Travis Green, nice to see you. The glasses look great.
I see that. You got the shades, right? Or is that, I wanted to ask you guys, was that actual singing that I heard someone doing on the intro?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Wally, little known fact,
confirm.
Greener, little known fact. Salty Wally here used to be part of a church choir growing up. Like, he's actually a vocalist.
The karaoke king, huh? He grabs the mic at all the bars and grabs the karaoke mic and gets going.
Yeah.
I already regret this interview. If you had to do a karaoke song in a bar, Travis, what song would you do?
Good question. It'd be a country one for sure. Country slow one.
Little Garth Brooks? Friends in
Potentially.
High Places?
Yeah, potentially.
Well, Yorkie will do a duet with you anytime.
Yeah, I don't know about my pipes. Well, I wasn't in a church choir like yourself. You're a country guy, Greener. That's if you're gonna chill out after the playoffs, you're gonna lay down some country.
Yeah, it's pretty well country. That's all I listen to.
Yeah. Who's on the playlist right now? If you're driving to the rink,
Everyone. I just kind of go through the country hits, load it up, hit a few
Yeah.
favorites, and start my. I got a little playlist that I get going every year, and a lot of Morgan Wallen, but a little bit of everything.
Is
Yeah.
Beyonce on your country list?
I'll listen. I've listened to her. I'm not sure if she's cut the favorite list yet.
No, that's
Fair enough.
no.
Yeah.
York, can we move on?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Summer. It's a summer interview. Like you had the shades on, Greener. I thought it was
I
loose.
saw
and-
that. Yeah.
like-
I saw the shades.
Speaking of which, have you unwound yet?
Not really. Still a little salty taste in the mouth. It usually stays for a little while. So I don't know. Hopefully it goes away eventually.
Yeah, it's you guys. Like, when Wally and I went to every game, we're down in Toronto, sitting there. Every single game, Greener, could have went either way. Like, pretty well. Like, that's how close that series was. And if a few bounces here or there, you guys are winning that series.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's probably the reason that it stings. I mean, it always stings when you lose. I talked about it earlier when we lost to Vegas in the game 7 in Vancouver. I think they scored with 5 minutes left to win 1-0 in a game 7, and obviously it stings, but so you sit back and you look at that series back when I was in Vancouver, and they played better than us. We hung on the whole series. We found a way to get it to 7 games, and this series probably stings more, quite honestly, just because of how close every game was, and um, how you leave it feeling like you could have won. And everyone says they could have won, but like, I don't know if I've ever felt a series or played in a series that felt as close as this.
It was weird because we're trying to talk about if you're down in a series, you're like, what can you do differently to be better? Not like you guys played a very good series, and that's the interesting part of it. Could have gone either way. So, what could you, if you look back at it now, could you have done differently as a team? Anything?
If I'm being really honest, I haven't gone back and really thought about it too much. I think we will eventually. I thought they were opportunistic, a little bit. Like, give them credit. Their goal scorers got some key goals at key moments. Uh, special teams a little bit. 5-on-5, I really liked our game.
Yeah.
There was some, there's still a couple key moments that you always think about, that'll be learning experiences for our group going forward, that you can prepare a team and talk about how every little detail matters, how every shift matters, and even the simplest control forecheck or face off can be the difference, and just being mentally dialed in every shift is important. And in saying that, you are going to make mistakes too. And that's part of it. And I think our team really matured along the way this season, as far as staying in the moment and not letting mistakes derail you.
Greener, we had Jacques Martin on the other day, and I remember when Jacques came in last year, and the way Timmy was playing, like the talent was there. You could see it. There was like at times like best player on the ice all the time, but there was those a lot of east west. And I'm just, from my perspective, I'm interested to hear yours after where you started to where he is now, because I thought he was really good in the playoffs. Like, the point production is one thing, but the way he competed, like when you get your star players playing like that, I was really impressed with his compete level in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was too. I had a lot of people asking me, like, Timmy's got 9 hits, 8 hits, 7 hits, and are you going to tell him to stop hitting or stop trying to? And quite honestly, no. I liked that he was being physical because he still had the puck a lot too.
Yeah.
And the good thing about Timmy is he's got a lot of energy. He doesn't tire easily. We tried to keep in playoff hockey, we try to keep our shifts shorter and our shift, our total ice time down a little bit lower. But he's one guy that he can play a lot. And I thought he had a very competitive playoff. But I still, I saw his game improve as the playoffs went along a little bit in certain areas that we've talked to him all year about. And that's kind of going back to what I talked about earlier, and the exciting part about our group is, they're still learning and still improving, and we're going to need that to be better next year.
And especially down the middle of the ice, Greener, when you look at, I'll just take Toronto, for example, you got down the middle of the ice, you got a ton of guys with a ton of playoff experience, and you look how you guys are built. You got Timmy first playoffs. You got Pinto first playoffs. You got Cousins first playoffs. So I'm really intrigued to see how the group comes back next year after a full summer. That experience, like, it's gonna pay dividends.
Yeah, I agree with you. You learn a lot from playing playoff hockey, and when you have 3 centermen that not only haven't played but are still relatively young, they're going to take a lot out of it. And as coaches too, we have to take a deep dive into what we've coached so far. I still think we've probably held back on some things that we want to add to our game. And a lot of it comes from making sure they're ready for it and not getting ahead of what we think is necessary to win. There's certain, parts of the game that we feel as a coaching staff that you have to have to win. And we've been relentless in I guess, teaching that part. And, over the course of the summer, we'll really take a long look at ourselves at what we've coached so far, because there's still certain areas that we feel we can improve, but we don't want to kind of jump steps, I think, with our group.
Quickly, just do you have an answer for the face-offs and why it seemed your team would be ushered out of the dot more often than not?
Sure do. That's a nice way of putting it, Wally.
Yeah, to be honest, again, our team is such a good face-off team. It was, I was surprised at the way the face-offs went. Some of that's experience, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe being a little bit aggressive and a little too excited to get in there. And I think I look at, even from a personal level, my first 5-6 years in the league to my last, whatever, 8-9 in the face-off circle, just little nuances that you learn. Also, you learn a lot about how the linesmen change a little bit under pressure situations as well. And you can talk about that all you want, but until you get there and really see it firsthand, you got to experience it, and you kind of learn as you go.
Last question about the Battle of Ontario, and that's just the Battle of Ontario. It was a completely different feeling than it was when you played it, because, well, you were part of the problem. As you know, as always, the videos always show. Did it feel different to coach, and what was it like for you to be in that building to hear the crowd in Ottawa as a member of the Senators?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's going to feel different to coach, no matter what. Just coaching is different. Your emotions have to stay in check. You have to keep emotional control as a coach, and I try to do that. As a player, you let it all go, and you get your emotions out, and you reset and do it again the next game. So it's going to be different no matter what. But from standing on the bench to playing, it was just every once in a while I would take a moment and just step back and I was so impressed with our home crowd, like just just loud and into it. And the great thing about Ottawa is it's I don't know if I want to pick my words right, but like it was a gritty crowd, like where talk about Toronto, it's a little bit more reserved, and I felt like it was louder in our building, but I think every home team probably feels that way. And when I say louder, I meant over the course of the game. And it was special. Just I tried to take it in once in a while, just to look around and see the excitement level of the people and the fans.
I like how you put that. It was grittier because there was some good chants coming from the 300 level greener. I don't know if you guys could hear them, but they were
all levels.
There was some creativity going on with the chants in the building. I was getting a good chuckle out of it.
I heard a couple, but I try. Normally I don't, but I did.
Well,
I was chuckling inside. I can tell you that. It was so
good. That's the loudest I've ever heard the building. And I was here back when the team first made it greener, and you could actually feel it shaking in there. Like unbelievable. I think one thing with what you guys did this year, not only in making the playoffs, you brought back the passion to the city. Like, Wally, you could tell the buzz that was going on, the excitement, like it's been a long time, like since this kind of And playoffs does that, but just the way the team played and coming back in the series too, like you guys did, like that for a young team, that's commendable, but it just lit the city up. Well, and it's funny because you're on the inside, Greener, you don't see it as much, but on the outside, when your boots on the ground, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and that's, for me as a coach, that's awesome to hear, because you're right. You don't, when you're in it, you're in it, and you keep your focus narrow, and you're not looking outside your room, outside your team, and it's awesome to hear, because it's a great hockey town, great passionate fans, and I remembered it as a player. I think I said it when I first took the job, and um, was hopeful that we could get to playoff hockey, and to see it from a coach's eye was impressive.
So when you left your office the last day in Ottawa, did you like go, hey, like that's a hell of a season? I know you're still a little bitter about the playoffs, but overall, like I think with 27 wins at home, which is the third most in franchise history, fifth most wins overall, that's in your first year coaching in Ottawa.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do that. I didn't. I'll be honest, I haven't done that yet. It took me. It's funny when you lose. I know for me personally, when I lose, and it leaves a mark, and I think when you're coaching, and you pour a lot of yourself into it emotionally, and mentally, uh, it stings. It takes you a couple days to kind of even start to think again, and I would say it took me 2 to 3 days before I just started to grasp that we got the season's over. You start doing that stuff, and I really want to take some time before I start thinking about good, bad, where we need to improve. But now that we're talking about it, it was a good season. I didn't know where we were going to get to when we first came in. You always hope, like every team, every team hopes they're going to make the playoffs, but it's not easy. And I thought our group took a huge step this season, and now the challenge is going to be, to continue to take steps. It's all great and fine that you made the playoffs, but that's not our goal. Isn't just to make the playoffs. I'm not in this to just play playoff hockey. I want to win a Stanley Cup, and that's, as far as hockey goes, that's my whole purpose. And I believe our players have learned a lot this season, and it's going to be up to our players and our coaches now, to challenge ourselves and to challenge each other to come back better than when we left. And that's what it takes, not only to make the playoffs, but to win the Stanley Cup. We've got to continue to move forward.
Do you watch the playoffs now?
Sorry?
Are you watching any hockey now?
Yeah, I'm back watching a little bit. Yeah.
Do you watch the Leaf series, or you're like, no, not watching them?
I've watched a little bit of it. I haven't watched a lot. It's been the early game. I just got out west not long ago, so I missed last night's game. But I've watched a little bit of it.
Now that you're home, do you putter around the house? Are you handy? Do you do anything? Do you mow the lawn?
No, I'm not very handy, to be honest. I know how to put my skates on and blow a whistle, and it probably ends right around there as far as handiness around the house. But I know how to brush my teeth and put the microwave stove on.
There you go. All right. Have you, because you've been asked this question every day for about a week, watch the Red Sox series on Netflix?
Yeah, I never got around to that.
Yeah, no,
the hot topic.
I couldn't believe
what was going on with that, Wally? Was that being asked every press conference?
It seemed
a running joke.
Okay. Yeah. Was there any? And I know you don't like to single out players, so I'll ask this question knowing that, but was there like anybody that really surprised you throughout the season that you were like, I knew he was good or I knew he was whatever, but he's certainly a different player than I expected.
Oh man, you're right.
I
I
know
don't
it's
like
not
to
fair.
single out certain players. I feel like I could probably say that about a lot of our players.
Yeah.
Um, you know, seeing them from the outside, and then coaching them is always two different things, and it's probably a long list, quite honestly. And I can start with Sandy. I mean, he comes to mind.
Yeah.
Uh, just as far as I knew he was a good defenseman. And the one thing about Sandy is I thought he really improved as the season went on as well.
Yeah.
And again, I go back to the exciting part of our group is that I really truly believe. I don't know if there's. I feel like every player almost still has improvement in their game, and you can't normally say that about a lot of teams where you've kind of the players have kind of they are what they are. Uh, once they hit that 26-7, they still try to improve their game, but I feel like there's a lot of room to grow. I think we got a lot of growth out of a lot of our players. I mentioned Sandy. I can say Brady, Timmy,
Mm-hmm.
Drake. Uh, I don't want to leave guy, Clevin, for example, even Shabby. Like Shabby improved a lot this year.
Big
Yeah.
time.
And that as much as I think our guys improved their game, and some of them, they all improved in different ways, but I think the biggest one in general was, how you have to play to win and not just be a player in the league and be a point producing player in the league. And it takes a commitment, it takes energy, it takes physicality. And I thought a lot of guys took big steps there. And I also feel like a lot of guys have room to improve their game still. And, that's going to be vital for our team going forward. It just is. And that's because you can't just fix your team, through free agency and those kind of things that can help for sure. Uh, but I've always said there's three ways. You either have younger players coming in to make your team and help you win. Uh, you add players through free agency or trades, or your players on your team improve. And we're going to challenge our players again to improve when they come back.
The one of the biggest things, Greener, that really stuck for me was the goals against. Like what
Mhm.
the turnaround to where this team was before you took over to now. I go back to that. Was it the third period in Boston? Pretty good team.
Yeah,
No shots on net for the entire
yeah,
period. Like there was stuff going on this season defensively that people here haven't seen in a long time, and just goes to show you, like, defense wins, and then you're talking about taking the next step after that. But it must have been tough to get guys to buy in, though, because at this level, guys, it took. You said at the beginning of the year there was an adjustment period. Be patient, and then once you had that buy-in, it just seemed like this team defended. Like, how many shutouts do you guys have this year? I think
10.
10 shutouts. Like, you guys got to take a lot of pride in what you did as far as changing how this team defends, because it was a miraculous turnaround.
yeah. And I think that was probably our focus point coming in is and I go back to what is winning hockey, and there's not many teams, or I can't remember teams that can just fire wagon their way through and win. And it's there's a lot that goes into playing defensive hockey. There, of course, there's systems and structure uh, and teaching, but there's also a mindset and a commitment to doing it, and the physicality part is part of it. Um, being making the other team spend time in their zone is part of it on a forecheck, and finishing your hits. That's part of it as well through the neutral zone. So the other team doesn't come through the neutral zone. And it's really that 200-foot game that you talk about. And, that's where I've said before, our team is very coachable. I've seen pushback in other scenarios in other teams where, pushback to really play away from the puck. And that pushback usually comes from young, skilled players that want to play with the puck and don't understand the work. And there's still room for improvement, I think. Like our young centermen still have room to improve. And that's, again, goes back to the exciting part. But obviously, the teams that win, they defend and they score.
Greener, what do you think of practices? There's a guy down there that's always filming around the glass. I don't know if you've noticed him. He's got gray hair, glasses. Like, what's the deal with that? Like, is he interrupting what you guys are doing down there?
I try not to worry about the things I don't control and the things I do. But you know what? I don't even notice it. I think I got a little snippy one day at the practice rink. There were some guys on the bench, some people on the bench that I just wasn't used to seeing, and I don't know, I kind of scuttled them off the bench quick before practice started. But other than that, I don't really worry about it.
Yeah.
I do remember that day. I was like, because everybody else seemed to get scared and walk, and I was like, well, I'll just have the conversation. And you were like, because most teams don't allow the media to shoot on the bench anymore. They used to a long time ago.
Right.
And so we're like, yeah, no, we're good. We'll leave.
Yes, it wasn't
no problem to me.
optional.
No. Wally Vision moved away. That's all.
Yeah.
Shane Pinto's ceiling. You gave him arguably an important role of being that shutdown guy, that third line guy. Where do you see his game evolving?
Well, we don't have crystal balls and but I do believe that he's still got room for improvement in his game. And when I say his game, I think mentally and physically. I think as a young centerman, relatively young, in this role, you learn a lot as you go, and he's still learning that part of that checking role. And he's not just a checker; like, he can score too. And I think good teams, that's what they have in that role: guys that can play against other good players and still produce. And I think part of Pince's season improving is him just not worrying. I think young guys kind of worry about, well, I'm on the third line, I can be a second liner, or like stuff like that. And we don't really have one. Like, if you really want to talk about third line, like, your minutes are, we don't really have 1, 2, 3, maybe there's a fourth line, but, like, get that out of your head and just be the best player you can be. And that's just maturing, I think, over time. And then the physical part of his game, as far as his skills and his getting stronger, is there's still room for improvement as well. So it's hard to say where he can max out at, but he's definitely a good player now. And I expect Pince to come back better next year, much like I'd say about a lot of our players.
You don't watch the show every day. I can appreciate that. We have we politically get petition, if you will, to put him back on the power play. Just keep that in mind for next season. You don't have to answer it. We just like him on the power play.
Yeah.
Well, you're not the only one. Alfie petitions it too. So, and I think the one thing, like, we had a lot of guys that could play the power play, and
yes,
we did. We probably had 9 forwards that could play the power play, and Pince wanted to play power play.
Like everybody
And
does.
there's times, and I can see why. I like playing the power play too, but I had to, a couple times, just talk to Pince and say, hey, you can play the power play. I get it, but I need you to understand that at the end of the power play, the other team is usually coming back with, their number one line. And, I want you to be on the ice at the end of the power play when they come back with their number one line. And we have the luxury of, being able to we had a lot of right shots, and he was good with it. Once we had a couple talks, I feel like it might have bothered him early, and then he started to understand what I was talking about, and yet we still threw him out there occasionally if we felt like we needed to.
Does he kind of remind you of yourself a little bit, Pinto?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Like-
I mean, better player, but mindset wise, I can relate to him. Just, when I was always a goal scorer and came out of junior as a a high end goal scoring player, and really never even thought about being on a checking line. And that's just normal. I think a lot of players that are good players, you go through the whole NHL, most guys were offensive guys when they were younger. And he does remind me a little bit of myself. Just he's got a lot of energy. He loves the game. He's smiling a lot, and
Good looking.
I still, yeah, let's not forget that part too. But I just feel like he's got more in the tank. He's going to become a better player with the longer that he's in the league, because he's going to understand a lot of different nuances that go into that role.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, like I learned a lot from year 1 to 6 compared to 6 to 14. And I know Pince will do the same.
It's crazy how that works, eh? Like people think that the NHL, the guy's a fourth liner because he was a fourth liner in junior. No, that guy was the best player on his team in junior.
Yeah.
If you want to stay, you better adapt or you're out of here.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Adam Gaudette was the Hobie Baker winner.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right?
He's such a smart player, eh, Greener? Like
he really is.
If he had if his boots were better, he would be unbelievable. Like this, his brain.
I mean, God's has had a really good season, and the reason he had a good season is because, there's a good example of someone maturing as a player.
Yeah,
and really understanding. Okay, if I want to stay in the league and I want to be in this position, I got to make sure that my details are sharp. Like and his are like he's in the right spot most of the time. He doesn't panic with the puck. And there's another guy that we, as a challenge to him is, can you get stronger? Can you get faster? And are you willing to put the work in to do it? And that'll be a message sent throughout our group. Whatever your weaknesses are you willing to put the work in to improve?
Quickly before we get to some fun questions, that's the game against Detroit when you give up 27 shots in the second period. Do you say anything in that intermission, or is it just another game? I'm just curious if now that it's
I
gone,
I always go in at the 8-minute mark, and sometimes it's short. It's never long. I don't believe in going in there long. I can't remember exactly. I remember the period you're talking about. I don't remember what I said, but sometimes you're raising your voice and yelling a little bit. I try to keep those moments to a minimal. Otherwise it gets a little old. And quite honestly, our team didn't give us a lot of reason for me to go after much. But I think in a case like that, my guess is that, it was so obvious that we weren't very good that I probably, I didn't have to go after them. I probably had to talk about why we spent so much time in our zone and how we have to get it back, get the train back on the tracks.
Very good answer. Do you, by the way, say anything after losses? Some coaches don't go in the room after losses. Do you go in regardless? And are you like a routine guy?
Yeah, I normally go in after the game, and it depends on your group, and that might change as we go forward. I do believe that it's important for your team to take the reins a little bit as you move forward. This year, I pretty well went in after every game, and a lot of it is just to make sure that they understand where we're at with the game, whether we won or lost, just so they didn't go away feeling too high about the game or too low about the game. And we talked a lot this season about, game to game, game to game, reset, win the day, those kind of things. And this year I talked to the group a lot after the game. After wins, a lot of times it's just, a little bit of fist bump and good job. But I think you need to be a little bit consistent. And then there'll come a time where, hey, I don't need to go in after every loss, and you guys need to talk through it and talk about the game yourselves. And we'll see when we get to that.
Okay, question everybody wants to know, because it's a big topic on the show. How do you like your steak cooked?
Wow, big topic. I'm a medium rare guy.
This is a hard-hitting show, Travis.
Yes, I know. Those are the hard. This is why I was prepping for the hard one.
Oh boy. Medium. Well, Wally is a medium well done steak.
I was going to
guy.
say Wally's for sure medium well.
Medium well. Fucking burnt. Get me a burnt steak.
Yeah, no, I'm medium rare.
Oh, doesn't make any sense to me. And the other question, if you're sitting at home and you're watching like a movie, do you have we call it a cheat snack with the players, but do you have what's your favorite snack?
Yeah, I might. If I go to the movie theater, it's definitely popcorn and chocolate covered peanuts.
Uh-huh. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go from there.
Yeah, you're hitting the hard ones.
What do you do in your downtime? I know you like to play poker, or at least you used to like to play poker. I'm not sure if you still do. Is that still a big thing for you?
I get some buddies that we get together once a week and get a little game. We have dinner and poker night, which is always fun.
Do you win all the time?
It's a tough game, man. We've been running it now for a long time. And
is this the game with Korea? Is Korea in this game?
Yeah.
I've heard about this game.
Yeah. So we kind of, if you're still in the game after, we've probably been running it 15, 20 years.
Oh,
And the weak kind of figure out that they're the weak, and they end up leaving the game because it eventually they've lost too much money and they're tired of losing. But we probably got 15 guys that play.
Wow.
And we kind of run it every Saturday night, and that's kind of our summer off-season thing. And then I do like to golf. Believe it or not, I work out a little bit in the off-season, try to drop the in-season pounds.
Where are you? Where do you, fuck. The NHL? What do they call it? Green, or the Never Hungry League?
They talk about learning as you go. I've learned that the joke is you just in our coach's office, protein shakes and soup during the day.
Yeah. Where are you playing right now in Anaheim when you golf?
A little bit all over. I'm hoping to join a club here maybe this summer.
Okay.
But you would know it well. I play Tustin Ranch a lot.
Yeah, great track.
Yeah, play Mission Viejo. Okay. There's so many good courses around here.
It's unbelievable.
So we try to play 3 to 4 times a week, I hope.
Okay. Is Paulie getting out, or is he just still sticking to surfing and ping pong?
No, Paul, he's not allowed to play. He doesn't play.
He's actually a pretty good golfer too, but he used golfs.
To be. Yeah, he used to be, and then he's the kind of guy too that if he can't be great at it, he won't do it. So
exactly.
He's pretty well just a surfer and a poker player on Saturdays, and proclaims to be great at that, but is the tightest player in the game by
so tight. Like he'll just wait, check.
Yeah.
God.
Have you surfed? Are you a surfer? I
went with Paul once, and I will never go again. Or at least I won't go with Paul. Surfing and snowboarding are probably the hardest 2 things I've tried. And when I went surfing with Paul, I was expecting to get like, some sort of advice a little bit, and more or less he just said, here's your board. And I know it's not, like, I had heard later that bigger boards are better, and I know he uses a shorter board, and he said, here's your board, just paddle out, jump on the wave, and away you go. And I don't think I saw him again for 3 or 4 hours, and I never got up once. Felt like I broke my ribs from holding onto the board so tight, and have never gone back since.
I can appreciate that. Last question I have, well, I say last question usually, is you're a strong poker player, but you don't always hide your poker face very well on the bench. You have a lot of great moments that we've turned into gifts just based on watching your reaction. Do you need a better poker face on the bench?
Sometimes those I'm already thinking ahead. That's my answer to that. I'm setting the table for something later with those moves on the bench.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Travis, we appreciate your time. I know you're just trying to unwind. So thanks for letting us bother you for a bit. Take care, my friend. Hey, and it's nice to see you laugh, because a lot of people don't think you like to laugh.
Believe it or not, I laugh a lot, but it's not, sometimes during mid-season, it's I got the game face on and the coach's face.
Much appreciated.
Thanks, Greener. Appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
See ya.
There goes Travis Green, head coach of the Ottawa Senators, who put the team into the playoffs for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah, he that's why I asked him that question on Pinto, because when Greener played, because our careers coincided right against, we're the same age. I played a ton against Travis. I played in the minors against him. When he was playing for the Islanders farm team, I was playing for Detroit's farm team. We had some great battles, like some historic AHL battles where the police came after. He was playing for the Capital District Islanders. They played out of the field house up in Albany, where I believe it's where RPI. So we'd play up there, but man, we had some battles. I think Butch Goring was coaching them. We had Barry Melrose. We had brawls. Police came in after a game. Like, guy on my team, good buddy of mine, Max Mittendorf, two-handed a guy in the head, like almost chopped his head off. And it was like there was assault charges. This was back when the AHL was bananas. Like, I don't use the word bananas very often, but that's what the AHL was like back in the early 90s. And Greener was on that team. And so then he got to the NHL. I got to the NHL, but he was a great room guy. Like, he was a guy I liked to have a lot of fun. I had a lot of buddies that played with him. Travis and I are both mutual friends with Paul Korea. So he's a fun guy, like loves to golf, loves cards, played a long time. When you play that long in the league, you got to be a good player. But as you get older, it's more about being a good person and a guy that you want around your young guys. And that's what Travis ended up being. But yeah, he had a reputation of a guy that was a really good teammate.
I do appreciate his approach to the game, and that's the no nonsense, be a pro. This is how you win in the National Hockey League.
Especially with today's player, Wally, it has never been tougher to coach in the league with dealing with players, because the players now have so much power because they're making so much money. Most of them are on long-term deals. Coaches are getting fired like crazy, and like your lifespan of a coach, I don't even know what the average is. What is it? Maybe
so right now, Yorkie, it's the worst in all the 4 major sports. It's under 3 years is the average coach.
So there you go.
Crazy.
And players, like all the good players on most teams, are signed to long-term deals, like 6-7 year deals. So you have to, when you're coaching, you have to get your message through. You have to get buy-in. It's the old analogy, and this is what I say coaching is. Coaching is very simple. It's not very simple, but here's what you got to do if you're a coach. Your team is divided into 3 groups. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. So if you haven't heard it, listen up. This is what it's all about. You've got 3 groups. One group, so 1/3 of your team likes you. They're playing a lot. They're happy. They're loving life. Things are going well. Then you got the bottom third, not happy with their ice time, not getting the special teams they deserve, probably getting scratched, and they're not happy. They don't like the coach. Then you have the murky middle, which I call Switzerland. This group is neutral. They're kind of happy. Sometimes they're not. The trick to being a coach is make sure Switzerland doesn't go to the dark side. when that
doesn't
happens,
become North Korea. Yeah.
Yes, that's when all hell breaks loose. You've got to keep that middle ground, and that's not all coaching is, but that's a big part of it. Make sure Switzerland doesn't go to the dark side, and then you'll at least be able to survive the 3 years.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, yeah,
think about it. To get to that average, there's a lot of coaches getting fired before that 3-year time.
Yes,
like it's crazy.
So Cronin in Anaheim, what was 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how long Rick Tocchet lasted in Vancouver. I know his deal was done, but did he last more than 2 years?
But
John Tortorella, I don't feel like. Anyway, I'd have to go back. I could be wrong, but yeah, under 3 years is crazy.
He got Babs in Columbus at the record. I don't even think he coached. He was fired and fired before. He didn't even get a game in.
Yeah.
It's
anyway. All right, we're moving on. This show brought to you by Club EG. City Match Play Championship. This Match Play Championship takes place in Ottawa. Is for golfers of all skill level. There's a division for any skill, any age, and yes, males and females. Basically, go to citymatchplay.golf. Check it out. They'll put you in a group that matches your skill level. Even if you shoot over 100, you will always compete against someone of similar skill. So check it out. citymatchplay.golf.
And also by BEI. Give them a call at 613-432-1120 or at bonnecherexcavating.com. They can help you out with equipment rentals, aggregate, topsoil supplies, custom crushing and screening. They can pave your driveway too, Wally, if that's what you need. So BEI, the heavy civil general contractor, they're helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. And remember, please slow down in construction zones.
Yeah, I just saw something on their Twitter page. I don't know if they've got a deal going on right now, but I do know that they're up and running with all their asphalt and resealing of driveways. Also, Bet365 is our proud presenting sponsor. You want to get on the action for Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365, they got you. From game props to player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. So whatever the bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game, an official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Only 2 games tonight, and 2 series could end tonight like the Oilers last night. Carolina, Washington, Carolina up 3-1, and of course, Dallas up on the Jets. Yorkie. Now, the Jets are favored to win this one, which is interesting to me because I know they're back home in Winnipeg, but Carolina favored to finish off the Caps tonight. Do both of these series end for you tonight?
I think the Jets might be able to pull this one out tonight, Wally, but I'm liking Carolina right now. They got their mojo going. I think Carolina finishes that one off. They're just a better team. I think Washington's tough to explain. Everything just went right for Washington this year. I didn't find that team. There was no adversity. They kind of played above their pay grade all year. It was just supposed to be the season of celebrating Ovechkin breaking the record, which he did. And then all of a sudden they become one of the best teams in the NHL. But every time I watch them, I'm like, yeah, they're big. Yeah, they play hard. They're pre-structured, but I just don't think there's quite enough talent there as a group as a whole.
That's a team that didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah. And with the minus whatever they were last year, minus 25, minus 30. So they had a great season. I just think they look like a team. Well, Carolina, it's like almost like the perfect storm right there. Like nobody was talking about them because they were becoming the San Jose Sharks of 2025, the way the Sharks were always a team. Yeah, this is their year. This is their year. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. Nobody was talking about Carolina. I'm bullish on Carolina right now, Wally.
Freddie Anderson is the problem. That's like, when I say problem, I mean question mark, because he's never been able to do it mentally.
Yeah, and he's looked great. He's looked great so far.
Looks great.
I think statistically, he's got the best stats out of any goalie in the playoffs right now. Although Bobrovsky's moving up there pretty quick. Man, is Bob playing well right now. But everyone's just assuming that Florida's going to beat Toronto. They should, but the season's not over yet. But I don't think it's a slam dunk that if Florida gets through in Carolina, if they beat the Hurricanes. Carolina is a really good hockey team. Really good.
Yep, very good, very structured. And my apologies. Yes, Washington did make the playoffs last year. They were the last team to clinch.
Yeah.
First team to clinch this year. Anyway, I apologize. So it'll be interesting to watch. I think Dallas will finish them.
Yeah, they're good right now, boy.
Dallas is
Heiskanen's
just-
back. Heiskanen's back.
Like,
Winnipeg's just they just have such a tough. They play such north-south hockey. Like it's hard, heavy hockey, and they're a big, strong team. And man, Ehlers has been really good. That guy's going to make a lot of the money this summer when he becomes a free agent. But Dallas just seems to a man more talent, more skill. Plus they're big. Plus they're they've been through it. A lot of their guys have been through it. They're healthy now. Heiskanen's back now. Robertson's back. They've got. That the interesting thing with that too is the goaltending dynamic, right? You got the two goalies that want to be the guy, right? For Team USA. So that's an interesting dynamic too. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas finishes it off. They look so good right now. And you know what's funny? Nobody was really talking about them before the playoffs. It's like, yeah, too many injuries, too many guys hurt, but now they're healthy. So look out.
That's the thing about like Dallas. Just again, it's like, oh, this is their year or whatever, right? And then you guys, I even think you and Graham both picked Colorado to beat out Dallas. That's just
I thought they would.
Just a really good team in Dallas. Like, man,
I was like, that series is going to go either way, and whoever wins that series is going to go to the final.
I picked Dallas Carolina final just so we're clear here.
Yeah, I could see that, Wally. Although Edmonton looks really good right now, really good. Like
but when they go into any game, do you always think that they're the team that's going to win that game? And my point is, but there's something about that team that can either be really good or they can be god awful.
Yeah. The one thing I like in a close game, they've got those two game breakers. Like you've got Rantanen's pretty good right now too, but McDavid is just on another level. And playoff Leon, I just think he's so clutch on the playoffs. The trick with Edmonton is, can their second tier guys contribute? And they have so far. Evander Kane's looked. Corey 40 is he 40 years old right now?
I think
he's just what a crazy
he just
story.
loves to play. But Evander Kane, for all the baggage he comes with, is
Connor Brown.
Really,
Connor Brown's been good. They've got that patched up defenseman with they've defense core with Wall. Like they don't like Ekholm hasn't been playing, and all of a sudden they've got other guys that have slid in and played. Darnell Nurse is playing pretty good.
I still don't think goaltending still doesn't make it.
Yeah. Well, they had a shutout.
I would never pick Edmonton to win a series because I don't believe in their goaltending.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it's going to be Edmonton Dallas, and it's going to be a hell of a series. And then hopefully, how much joy did Sens fans, just kind of rambling all over the place here, but how much joy do you think Sens fans had in watching that Leaf game last night? Oh my God. So it was like a dumpster fire, just an explosion. My God. Did you watch that game?
Yeah.
Toronto
every time it's just wild to me.
They couldn't, like, the goalies mishandled the puck. Like Mitch Marner's body language, he looks like he's just beaten down. It's like you're not, like, you can't have that kind of body language in the NHL playoffs. Like,
but how does that happen? Like Yorkie, I don't understand how that happens.
I just think when what here's somebody's tweeted, Janny's tweeted, it's so much friggin' joy. Oh, everyone's loving it. Thank you, Janny VA. How does it happen? This has been the problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs throughout this last 10 years of when they've had whatever you want to call it, the core four, the big four. When things aren't going right, they go off script and they go back to what they were taught as kids and their skills and their hope plays. Like if you watched last night, a perfect example, the spinorama backhand pass by Mitch Marner, there's zero reason why you should throw a backhand pass to the middle of the ice in that situation. It's playing against a team that's waiting for those. But I go back to those Leafs of old when they would lose, they would have the turnovers at the blue line. They would make bad decisions with the puck. And to this point, like Berube seemed to have gotten that out of their game, but old habits die hard. And you saw some of those old habits. And also too, we talked about this in the Ottawa-Toronto series. It's all about pucks battles. Like Florida's just, it's second effort. It's can you elevate your game? I'm like watching Matthews. I thought he was really good in the Ottawa series, but he's reminding me of Yashin when I watch him right now. A lot like Alexei Yashin, really skilled and big and got all the tools. But once the playoffs come, he doesn't elevate his game. Like, he's still good, but if you're the best player on your team, you have to be great. You have to drag your lead. You got to lead. You got to drag your team. Like, you got to go in on the forecheck. Like, with his body, he should be running guys over. He's got to be fierce and physical. Like, yeah, sure, he's winning faceoffs and he's in good positions defensively, but I don't know. I don't know if he knows how to body check. Like, I actually, and I'm saying this in all seriousness, just picture him growing up in the desert. Was so good, probably had the puck 95% of the time. So that's why his puck skills are so good. But I watched him. Then
he played in Europe, right? He played in Zurich.
But I watch him try and
bigger ice.
And I watch him try and hit, and he looks like uncomfortable and awkward when he's hitting. Like, when he has the puck, like, he's still hard to get off the puck, and he's a world-class talent. But when he doesn't have the puck, if he could just bring some ferocity into his game, what a player he would be. But some guys just don't have that in them, and we'll see. Like, they're not dead yet. But this next game, they're on life support, and if they lose this game, there is going to be a nuclear bomb that goes off in Toronto. Like, it has to. They're up 2-0 in the series.
I don't really want to spend time. I wish it was some other team, because I would have the same conversation.
But Sens fans are fascinated watching this.
I totally, and I have a really good
Gatineau Greg's waiting with the gif of Matthews kicking everybody in the nuts, and all those guys are getting it. Like,
I agree. So I have a friend who's a huge Leafs fan. Like, he wears the same thing he's very superstitious. Like, the guy in New Brunswick is going to have an impact on that game. Like, anyway,
whatever works.
So I keep trying to text him during games. He's now muted me. But they like, when you're,
what do you say when you text? What do you say when you text him? Like,
could just be like, hey, just checking in. Did you see that goal? Something, like, he just ignores me now.
What's going on? What are you doing tonight? Hey, anything going on?
You okay? And then never got an answer. And then I got sleep well, and he just said prick. So when you throw a jersey on the ice in a playoff game in the second round, I know there's overreaction, which a bit of that is, but people are fed up watching that kind of stuff on the ice.
Backhand spinneramas, turn it over at the blue line. Yeah,
yes.
Seeing that, and
yes,
it's because they get their chances, but it's like a breakaway, and then it's nothing. And Florida just keeps coming. They just keep coming, and they're grinding, and they're hitting, and they're tough to play against. Where, it's going to be like, I expect Toronto actually to play well in Game 6. Like, I don't think this series is over, but I'm fascinated to watch. I'm fascinated to see what goes on.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable reality television right now, Wally.
Like, they have a really good hockey team. Like, they have a lot of talent on that hockey team.
Well, look what
for whatever reason, they can't figure it out.
Yeah, like, I think Lawton's been really good as their fourth line center. They brought in the big right shot D and Carlo. Anev's been really good. Yeah. All the moves that were done, I think, are excellent. It's your 4 players, and Tavares has actually been pretty good. But it's Matthews and it's Marner, and Nylander does a lot of great things.
I would say Nylander's by far the best of them all.
But there's times when he looks like he just gives up defensively, and you can't have that in the playoffs. Like, they showed some clips. I forgot, it might have been Bieksa was doing a clip of him just standing in the D zone. Like, you're not going to win when your star players don't play like their life depends on it.
And that's what happened to you guys against Buffalo. Like, you had Alexei Yashin, who was an MVP type candidate. But
I would say more against Buffalo. When we lost to Buffalo, we had 50 plus. Hasek was a big reason.
He was amazing,
amazing.
But if you don't find a way to generate offense, it doesn't matter. Now,
Yeah,
the only thing
100%.
for the Leafs that they can hang their excuse hat on would be Anthony Stolarz hasn't played in this playoff or in this round.
Yeah, and they
out in
really
game one, whatever. So,
and they geez, a Matt Murray sighting last night. That's when you know
and
things
then
aren't good.
Then he gives up that quick goal right off the, like, I think Sam Bennett right off the face-off.
Doink.
Anyway.
Oh, boy.
A couple other things. Hey, by the way, I laugh because there's a Rogers commercial with Keanu Reeves where he's eating Neapolitan ice cream.
Well, the one that's on like 1,000 times a night, that one.
And I always think of you, and I have yet to have that bring it up to you because I thought it was funny.
Keanu looks like he's just always like out of control. It's like, oh, he's going to this, he's going. How many times? I think they've set a record. That commercial's been on like, I'm going to say at least 5,000 times. Like, mix it up a little bit.
No, now that you know it's working because we're talking about it. The other thing is the Ottawa Charge will play tomorrow, where they can clinch that series and head to the final. So
coming off a big win,
the 1-0 win was like they probably could have won this in 3 straight because the other game went to 4 overtimes. I don't know what that is, but it's been exciting to watch. So keep in mind that was a sellout the other night on Tuesday.
Yeah,
you didn't cheer on the Charge. So
Allmark was in the building with his family. That's great. No, it's great. It's they got a really good atmosphere. They got a good thing going on there. So good for the Charge.
So we will see you on Tuesday because it's a holiday Monday. As the Sens summer series continues, we're hoping to have somebody else join us on the show. I can't tell you who because I got to reach back out to them. So we'll see if it's another Senators player. It might be a defenseman. We'll see. Talk to you on Tuesday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for Travis Green for stopping by. See you, pal.
Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.